I hope you've kept your stamina from that Voke sprint because we're headed right into Stygia. Stygia is the second of the 8 hells, and it slows down just a little bit. The tempo goes from 110 beats per minute to 103, if I remember correctly. The first arena is probably the first best chance we would have for a donation read because it isn't too complicated. It's nice and simple. We're not doing a damage down in that first arena either. And it's a relatively simple arena, so host, if you watch this, then that would probably be the first time we would be able to throw to you, especially with how much of a sprint Voke is. Especially since we would probably want to discuss mechanics of the game and things like that during Voke. Now, let's get into Stygia itself. Stygia we are also doing on GOAT difficulty for the exact same reasons that we did Voke on GOAT difficulty. Better enemy patterns and more aggression. We want them to do extra damage here. As I said, first arena, not too much going on. Trying to do a rapid charge up of Fury there, straight to 8 times Fury, so we're doing full damage right off the bat. As I said, we will not be doing a full damage down in this first arena. A few missed shots there on the marionette on the far side, just having some trouble getting it around that geometry. But that's just one of those factors that can lose you a second or two in these levels. May not seem much at the time, but it does add up over time. We did get out of that arena before the instrumental and before the next chorus kicked in, so not too bad. This is where the damage down happens. We destroy those chaos crystals, and we hope that this behemoth takes a little less time than it does, but the behemoth decided to get stun locked a little bit. We utilized the Vulcan's ultimate to rein in all the marionettes that are going to be spawning over there, so I don't have to deal with them jumping up or going into a quick dodge phase. Makes it a little easier to do enemy management, jumping down early and then taking care of this behemoth as they go, jumping through the tunnel and then dealing with the hole of dead runs. Managed to snipe right through it, but that hole has some wonky geometry and is known for losing about 5 seconds. Many ILs and many IL run attempts have died to the hole. Doing an initial wipe of this arena there by wiping out the marionettes that spawn, and then the first 2 cambions, I should say, before reaching up onto this little perch over here. The cambion spawn points can be a little strange here. You could see them spawn right up next to you, or they could be spawning right down low. And then the final wave of marionettes can be a little interesting, but it really comes down to memorization at that point. Wipe out that first wave of enemies as you come in, detonating that chaos crystal. Know that that next wave of enemies will spawn low. Try to hit that chaos crystal early to take care of the marionettes. Hit that cambion that spawned low this time as opposed to high. That stalker can spawn down low at the bottom of the stairs, or it can spawn at the top of the stairs in that central platform. Short wave of marionettes spawning. And now we have cambions spawning there. Those cambions are priority enemies. Wipe out them before going up and taking care of the behemoth and marionettes. And now we try to not do what I just did there. A little bit of bad luck. Caught the edge of the electric pool Normally my positioning is better than that, but you do get to see how I would recover from that here. We should still be able to get a fairly decent time. Did overheal there. Game is overcompensating for me here. Thankfully, able to quickly damage back down between the Cambion, Marionettes, and Behemoth that have all spawned. So while I have lost a bit of time, it's not too much time. So quickly recovering. And this is how you actually dodge this attack. Haven't managed to actually bait out either of the attacks that I wanted, but I'm not complaining it because in this case that attack is actually faster. Normally we actually bait out a slower attack for consistency's sake. Perfect example there of a marionette becoming Neo from the Matrix and just dodging every single shot fired into it while it's stuck in the Vulcan's ultimate. Once this boss goes into its invincibility phase, I'm counting a specific number of beats until I trigger the Hellcrow's ultimate, and then it helps me damage down the final ticks of health for the boss just a little bit faster, and that is Stygia. Hopefully in the main run I won't take that death to the boss, but that's life when you're running with Last Breath Aegis. You're always a couple beats away from death. 451 with my average being 440, there's only so much you can do there. Can't complain too much. That's 11 seconds of time loss, and more or less all of that comes from the death that I took.